Hi everyone, the subject of today's video is consistency, why it's so important and how to achieve it. It's very common in sim racing to hear the phrase consistency is key, and that's to stress a particular point. You could be faster than your opponent on a single lap, but if you do so by taking too many risks, you will not be able to replicate that lap, and people that perhaps have been slower but in a consistent manner could be able to capitalize on your mistakes and pass you while you're trying to reach the same level of speed you reach on your fast lap without achieving it. Being consistent is even more important on longer races, because your laps are more predictable, in which case you will be able to calculate the average amount of time lost using multiple strategies. A bad news is that there's no quick way to gain consistency. The first condition is that you should practice a lot with the car. But on the other hand, you can't just practice just for the sake of practicing. You need to do so in such a way that you could understand your skill level and how the car behaves in order to have all the information you need to understand how fast you are and at which level of your speed you need to go in order to be confident that you could hit a particular time. Everything starts by knowing your racing line markers. I've done already a video about how to learn the racing line and how to get these points inside your head, but for the sake of this video let's assume you might also use something else like cones or the dashed line on the track. These markings are pretty much your racing line, the points you should hit in order to get the best time possible. That doesn't mean you should hit those things every single time, and that's because hitting precisely all those markers in the fastest way possible, it's a matter of skill level, and not all of us are skilled enough to hit those points every single time. What people tend to do in a practice session is only trying to get the fastest lap possible right away, trying to be aggressive on each curve to get that qualifying lap that yes, you could also get if you're lucky enough, but this comes at the cost of knowing only how to get that qualifying lap with all the risks involved. And instead not knowing how to have pace, which is something slightly different, but that's the root cause of the lack of consistency. What we need to do instead is to take into consideration all those points and start to be very conservative about it. So brake a little bit earlier, no smashing the accelerator too much, etc, etc. Yes, you will be slower, but you will also be more confident to make a corner. Then once you have the confidence all over the track by using this conservative line, try to brake a little bit later and accelerate a little bit harder, but still in such a way that you're feeling confident enough. And so on, and so on, and so on, until you are still pretty quick, but not risking more than necessary. Once you're starting practicing like that, you will also be able to understand the limits of your car at a certain moment of the races, like for example when your tires are worn, and you will be able to adapt your line even in those situations. If you know only how to do a qualifying lap, driving a car with worn tires is pretty much impossible. It is literally learning to walk before learning to run. As an example, we will look on my latest Manufacturer Series race at Brands Hatch, a track where it's really easy to make errors. So in this case it's even more important to have consistency to capitalize on other people's mistakes. You can look at my qualifying lap in Autumn, for example, and I'm braking way past the second board. But when you go to the race, I'm actually braking a little bit earlier than that, even though the tires are still the same and are not worn just yet. And that's because I know that I could brake later, but this increases also the probability I'm going to hit gravel. And because the race is not just a lap, but several, I prefer to be slower, thus minimize the chances of error, rather than go for the fastest lap possible and perhaps lose time or, even worse, going off track. Once we know the limit of the car, we could go even further than that, for example when tires are worn. I know at this moment that the risk is even increased, so I brake even before the board. The consequence is the following. On the first stint, apart from, of course, the first lap, 126.1, 126.3, 126.9, 126.7, and take also tire wear into account. Then on the second stint, at lap 8, I was hit and went off the road, but after that, 126.6, 127.0, 127.4, 127.2, 127.4 again, and 129 I've been overtaken and I had a couple of lines compromised because of that, but I didn't make any mistakes by myself. And that's all thanks to this strategy of being conservative and playing with my racing line markers all throughout the race. Not lighting fast laps, but that's not the point. I want to compare this with the example of Dojo 96. Unfortunately, I don't have the full replay on GT Sport anymore, so I can't compare his lap times with mine, but this guy was starting pretty much in the front of the pack, in second place. This guy was also way faster than me, but kept making so many mistakes that needed to overtake me first at lap 11, and then by the end of the race he made other mistakes and lost the position on the finish straight. So bottom line, I was able to get in front of him. Before ending this video, I want to make a small announcement. For those of you that speak Italian, I've opened another channel about GT Sport and racing games which is complementary with this one. In this channel I show summaries of my FIA races with a funny commentary in Italian. So if you're speaking Italian or you just like watch some close racing, you're welcome to join on this other channel as well. I'll drop a link in the description below. And that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until the next time, bye.